These dating streets are interesting. I'm not going to say they're the ghetto, but it's ghetto adjacent. You know what she needs to do? She needs to lower her standards and lose some weight. And as much as, society wants to tell women, lower your standards, it's that same society that then blames women when the standard keeps falling. What do you want from us? Before we get into today's video, I want to say a massive thank you to Lemonade Finance for sponsoring your girl and supporting the channel consistently. Lemonade Finance is an app where you can transfer money from the UK or Canada to 10 African countries. So if you are sending money back home, why not get the best rates and zero fees by using Lemonade Finance? It's easy, it's simple, it's a no-brainer. If you have not got the app already, download it. Click the link in my description and you will get 10% cash back off your first transaction. But if you've already got the app, no wahala, I've still got your back, all right? Use my code Courtney and you'll get 10% cash back off your first transaction as well. Because what? I'm the hookup. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are all doing well. For my UK peeps out there, I hope that this heat is not battering you too tough. For people who are international, hello, welcome. The people in the UK are suffering. It seems like this topic has been coming up in various ways in so many conversations that I've been having these days, and it's been getting me thinking about my life decisions, my life choices, and I thought, why not come and talk about it with y'all, my internet sisters, my internet friends. When it comes to settling, it comes in waves. It comes in waves. So let's talk about it. Now, before we get into this video, it's important for me to mention, girl, when I'm talking about settling, I'm not necessarily talking about compromise, even though the two can sometimes be used synonymously. I think compromise is about the fine details. It's about having this big vision for your life and knowing what you want out of your life, having your plan, having your goals, having a vision, having something that sets your heart on fire when you think about the future. Compromise is when the fine details or some of the details in that picture may not be exactly how you imagined it, but it doesn't take away from the greater picture. For example, I know I absolutely love to travel. I would love to work in another country full-time one day. I would absolutely love to work somewhere like LA or New York, but that all is the compromise, right? If it's not LA, it's calm. If it's New York, that's great. If it's somewhere else in the world, that would be absolutely fantastic too. That's a compromise. However, settling would be, I'm just gonna not work anywhere because I don't think I can actually attain that. So I'm just gonna stay here in London, the city that's familiar to me, and I'm gonna give up on that dream and that goal and that bigger picture for my life because I'm scared, or like I said, it seems unrealistic, whatever it may be. That's settling. That's deciding that, you know what, I'm not gonna really shoot for up there. I'm just gonna settle down here. And settling looks different for everyone. Compromise looks different for everyone. And this is why I think it's important for us as people to really define for ourselves what we actually want out of life. And so when I'm talking about settling, I'm not talking about this universally. I don't think there is an objective way we can talk about settling and compromise, even if we do use the two terms interchangeably, because the life you want may not be the life that I want, and the life that I want you may not approve of, and vice versa. So I'm not going to be telling you what you shouldn't take or what you shouldn't accept. I think there are basic things that we could possibly all agree on, like nobody should accept disrespect or toxicity or violated boundaries. But I do think that there are certain things in your life, I can't tell you what your standards should be. All I can do is encourage you to maintain them and stick to your guns and not let fear kind of make you cower out of them. And that's what this video is about. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with Renee about my career and how I was potentially looking at doing something for a little while, which wasn't really in my plan, or I could really go out there and go full throttle for my dream career, which is, a hell of a risk and feels very foreign and like it's really going to push me out of my comfort zone. And, we had this conversation about, well, do you want to settle when it comes to your career and your profession and what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life to leave an impact on the world? A couple of weeks ago, I had another conversation with one of my girls about how these dating streets, these dating streets are interesting. I'm not going to say they're the ghetto, but it's ghetto adjacent. The dating streets have been interesting to navigate for us as single women, but it's been interesting to kind of figure out, okay, now that you know you're checking out people are checking you out as well, how do you avoid settling and how do you go about actually maintaining a high standard? And that's a whole conversation in itself, setting high standards and maintaining them. But then there's the other aspect, which I've been having this conversation, I think, internally, and it really popped off in a conversation I was having with my sister, my actual sister, and we were talking about the lives we want to live and how, you know, based on our background, based on the lives that we have lived growing up, how much work we kind of have to put in to get the lives that we want, but also how close and how tangible it feels and how far we've come. And that in this kind of time when it feels like the future seems close, you're on the brink of something, it's so easy to just want to give up and settle, because I think that for me is one of the points of highest resistance. Like, getting started is hard, but getting close to the finish line is also hard. It requires another push. And I think one of the biggest dangers when you are close to achieving what you want or coming to the realization of what you want, the greatest temptation is to become complacent or to just compromise or to just settle for where you are, because it's not where you used to be, but it's not where you're trying to go either. And so I wanted to kind of come and talk about just refusing to settle and encouraging myself and encouraging us more generally, whilst I understand why it's easy to settle, because I'm right there. I'm right here, like at this stage where I'm like, this could work, you know, I can make this work. And that questioning, okay, maybe I won't get better, whether I should just continue waiting. And waiting is so hard. There's the impatience. Oh yeah, it's frustrating. But I'm at this stage now where I'm thinking I could settle for where I am right now, or I could really push and push to get what I want. And I can train myself in pushing to get what I want. And so I wanted to talk about those three things: career, relationships, and lifestyle. How not to settle in these three areas. So let's start off with career. I have been on a very interesting roller coaster when it comes to my career and my career path. I commonly say I'm actually still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. But this year that I've been on a gap year, if you don't know I'm on a gap year, go and watch that video, it's up on my channel. This year that I've been on my gap year, I've been realizing more and more that there are certain things which I actually love and I gravitate more toward, like creating, and not just creating content like what I do here on my YouTube channel, but actually like creating content, directing content, creating stories, and like curating episodes and putting together things that are like valuable and helpful and entertaining. I've actually really been loving that aspect of work. I do a lot of that stuff like over on TMS, but also like for brands and stuff. That's been fun. But also I really love entrepreneurship. If you don't know, I used to have my own e-commerce company and I stopped it back in December. I'm saying it better now. If you watch the vlogs, then you'll get that joke. But I'm trying to be purposeful in the way that I pronounce December, because the girls have been clowning me for how I used to say it, but that's the old me. I closed down my company and I have been missing that little bit of like running a company and like growing a company especially, and also just starting a company. I love that inception point. And I've been realizing more and more that the more I identify what I actually want, the harder it is to actually settle for what I don't want. There are so many roads that I could take on this career thing. There are the things that I like, there are the things that I am good at, and then there are the things that I actually really need right now. Like money. Cost of living is going up, all right? And trying to merge those three together is proving more difficult than I'd like. I'm gonna be completely honest. I've realized for myself that, you know what, I'm at this stage in my life where I can actually take risks. Maybe my risks have more consequence now that I'm 25 compared to when I was 21 and I decided to like spend all my savings on building my own company. But nonetheless, this is probably the lowest risk I'll ever have compared to when I'm 26, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, you know? And whilst I do believe that you're never too old to take a chance on your dreams, I do think the older you get, the more realistic you have to become. And I think it's a reality we can't really fight. And I also look to like my present circumstance of like, okay, my social context, my social class, the resources which are available to me, can I actually take the leaps that I want to take? And one thing I will very much be honest about when it comes to not settling, it's important for you to realize that if you are going to take a leap so that you don't have to settle where you are, you're going to need some kind of cushion just in case you don't make it. And we would love to radically believe in our dreams, right? Radically believe that no matter what, this is going to work. And I do actually believe there is a place for that kind of delusion, but it is delusion nonetheless. Because there is always a possibility that something doesn't work out. If there wasn't a possibility for that, it wouldn't be a risk, it would be a guarantee. But nothing is really guaranteed when it comes to pursuing something which has not been guaranteed for you, you know? What I'm realizing is if I'm gonna shoot for something that is not guaranteed, I'm going to need to have some kind of cushion just in case it fails, or just in case I don't make it in the time when I was expecting to make it. And that looks like doing practical things like, I saw on my friend's Instagram story recently that they recently got a medical degree, and somebody asked him, okay, you've got a medical degree, but you're not going to practice medicine. Do you not feel like that was a bit of a waste of time? And he was like, absolutely not. There are so many things that I could do with the medical degree. However, right now I have this safety net under me. He didn't necessarily put it like this verbatim, but right now he has this safety net under him, which is worst comes to worst and his dream career doesn't work out, he'll just go and be a practicing medical doctor. That is not a bad plan Z. Like, that is not a bad final plan. I remember when I finished uni and I was telling myself, you know what, go and pursue your dreams, because worst comes to worst, you're just gonna go and get a corporate career, you know? And if that's your worst, girl, you are sitting in a great place. And I try my best to kind of keep myself brushed up on making sure that my last resort is still something that I could be comfortable with. And that takes a bit of effort depending on where you're starting from. And I'm not going to take my position for granted in saying that. And when I say, you know, don't settle, I think there are a whole bunch of things that make people settle that are hard to overcome, such as current life circumstance, social surrounding, the resources that are available to you, the consequences of not reaching certain goals by a certain age or not living a certain way. But I think it is about taking leaps. And I do think there is a place also for like delayed gratification, because there are sometimes things you're just gonna have to do in the meantime. But I think it's important to remind yourself constantly that this is in the meantime. I think what stops us from getting to that place of having settled for the life we were given is not getting stuck in the meantime, not getting stuck at that place, and allowing yourself to remember and also pushing yourself out of it, remembering that this is just a season. Doing this job was only temporary. I'm going to go and find my actual place of permanence. That is hard, I will not lie, because it's easy, like I said, in that point of I'm almost there or I'm struggling to even see where I'm going to. It's easy to get complacent. It's easy to get comfortable. It's easy to get used to the just for right now, the in the meantime, that this will do for now. But that's not what you want. Whilst it may do for now, that's not what you want. And you've got to remember that. I think as women, we have to remind ourselves that we can go after what we want, not just what society tells us we can have, but what we actually want. What do you desire? Give yourself the right to inspect yourself and to experience the world enough to be able to say, I like this, I want this, I don't like that, and I don't want that, you know, and be confident in those decisions. And yes, your taste may change. Yes, your desires may change. Yes, you may realize that something that you considered a non-negotiable is actually something that you can compromise on. But realistically speaking, you know what you want and you know what you don't want. Stick to it, right? And that kind of brings us into that conversation about relationships, because I think as women, a lot of people try to force things onto you and kind of tell you. For example, I got a comment under, remember I did a video a couple months ago talking about how I've been single for like 6 years, and somebody commented under and was like, you know what she needs to do? She needs to lower her standards and lose some weight. And there were a lot of crazy comments under that video, which I think I might need to make a response video to, because I think it was actually quite interesting. I think they were interesting case studies, and I think they were great topic points. So let me know if you actually want to see that response video, because the comments under that video were wild. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the iCards, click it, catch up. And all I could think was, it's so interesting that people want women to put in so much work to make themselves amazing, top tier, or, you know, just to a degree, just a degree of self-improvement. And yet they also require them, whilst they are ascending, to also decrease their expectations and their standards. I find it so outlandish and so ridiculous. And I think the reason why people do it is because women are made to be scared. They're made to feel fear surrounding romantic partners, but also they are made to feel shame when they do express that they have a standard, and they are shamed about the fact that they have not yet met the people that meet their standard. And like I said, settling on a standard is completely different in this context to compromise, right? Compromise is about the fine details. Compromise is about the details. Settling is about the bigger picture. And when I think about the picture of my life that I see in my head, when I close my eyes, when I pray to God, when I, you know, declare things over myself and declare things over my future children, the life that I see, the vision that I have for that requires somebody who I'm not only compatible with, but somebody who can build that legacy. I wouldn't even necessarily say fit into the picture, but actually has the ability to build that family and maintain that kind of family, or build that future and maintain that kind of future. It's so interesting that people want women to settle on that kind of thing as if it doesn't have lifelong consequence, right? On not just your well-being and your happiness, but your future and your life outcome, and also what happens to the generations that come after you. And the older I've been getting, the more I've been thinking about legacy, the more important this thing has become to me, in terms of, yo, there's a standard that I need to maintain, but it also means I need to maintain it for myself. And if I'm not going to settle when it comes to relationships, I also cannot settle when it comes to the lifestyle that I live for myself. Because if I'm going to pick somebody who matches my energy, I need to be putting out that energy. I need to be putting that same amount of value and importance on my mindset, my morals, my spirituality, my work ethic, my approach to giving to community, like all these things that I want to leave as a legacy for my children. I need to be about that business right now if I'm gonna then meet a guy who is about that business. And I feel like keeping that focus on your life and doing your part helps you to realize that I'm putting in all this work, I'm doing all this, and I see that it's tangible, I see that it's real, I see that it's possible. I want somebody who comes in and aids that. I'm not just trying to be with someone for the sake of being with someone. I have a vision here. I've got something to build here. I've got somebody to have to submit to here. Like, especially if you are a woman of faith and your faith has that as a principle, like, if I'm going to submit to you, you got to be worthy of my submission. And that's a real thing. That is a real thing. Choosing who you will submit yourself to, choosing who you will do life with, choosing who you want as a partner, it is a big deal. Choosing the father of your children is a big deal, right? Choosing the name that your children will carry throughout the rest of their lives is a big deal. And as much as people will try to tell you, no, you should make the decision quickly, you should lower your standards. If you lower your standards, the life that you're going to end up living, you're the only person who's going to be able to answer for that. But also, right now, I appreciate the fact that I can be in control of that right now. And I think a lot of us are trying to compromise on the compatibility aspect of dating and finding a partner, and not just about whether this person is compatible with my personality, even though that's a massive thing, right? But is this person compatible with my future? Is their mindset, is their way of thinking compatible with my future? Is their skill set, is their work ethic, is their approach to life compatible with where I'm trying to take myself in the future? And as much as, you know, society wants to tell women lower your standards, it's that same society that then blames women when the standard keeps falling. What do you want from us? So really and truly, if you decide to rely on other people's opinions and instructions for your life, you'll be yo-yoing all around the houses, okay? Because people don't know what they want. I guess I kind of touched on it in the last point, but let's talk about lifestyle for a second. So as somebody like myself, I was in the gym this morning, I was thinking, damn, it's hot, I'm tired, my body is aching, my quads are killing me, and yeah, I gotta work out, right? And I just wanted to go home, I just wanted to sleep. I didn't even want to do like a lot of work today, and I think it's completely fine to rest. And you guys know me, like I am an avid like ambassador for rest. However, I do also think that there is a standard that you have to maintain for yourself and you have to set for yourself, sorry, which you shouldn't settle on. And I find that a lot of us are very stringent in the fact that we will not settle when it comes to our partners, or we will not settle when it comes to our career, but we will settle for the life that we live. And I think when it comes to your lifestyle, you have to remember, if you're going to set parameters for yourself, if you're going to, and I talked about this in my building confidence video, if you want to build confidence in yourself, you have to build a track record with yourself. And the way you build a track record with yourself is very similar to how you build a track record with other people, which is showing up when you say you're going to show up and doing the things you say you're going to do, becoming a woman of your word. And I do struggle with this. Honest to God, I will be the first person to say I do find this hard sometimes, because, you know, I go based on how do I feel on this day. But I think as I get older, I'm really trying to enforce on myself the fact that, Courts, this is not about how you feel. Leave that girlish mindset behind. Like, of course, be in tune with your body, be in tune with your mind, and know what it is you should and should not do, you know, and you have the capacity to do at this moment in time. But also there is a place where we deny our capacity because we are indisciplined. And I think for myself, I'm personally trying to get to this point where I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not just going based on, you know, this little barometer of, well, how do I feel today? Do I want to do this? Listen, girl, you have responsibilities to show up for, but even more than that, you have your word to live up to. If you say you're going to do X, Y, Z, just get up and do it. Because the more you don't show up to do the things you said you're going to do, especially for yourself, the harder it's going to be for you to truly trust yourself, and the harder it's going to be for you to truly love yourself, because you're going to be constantly living in this place of disappointment. I'm disappointed in myself right now because I didn't do X, Y, Z, because I said I would and I didn't, and I continuously fail to show up to doing it consistently. Start showing up for yourself, sis. Stop settling for the fact that maybe if other people didn't show up for you, you show up for you. At least honor yourself by showing up. Okay, show up and do the things you said you would do. Show up and, you know, be the person you said that you would be. Honor your word, especially the word that you give to yourself, okay? I'm gonna wake up at this time, or I'm gonna get X, Y, Z done tomorrow. Get it done. And if you find that you're constantly missing the mark, maybe the mark needs to be pushed back a little bit. And that's the compromise, right? This is the fine details, but you work yourself back up to the woman that I want to be. Has this capacity. She has this professional capacity. She has this personal capacity. She has this relational capacity. She has this ability to be X, Y, Z. These are her characteristics, blah, blah, blah. That's who I know I want to be. But there's a huge distance right now between who I want to be and who I am right now. And yes, I'm going to do the work to get one step closer every single day if I can, or every single week. But in order to make that step, I'm going to need to put in the work. Show up and put in the work. And that's a message to me as much as it is a message to you. And so I hope that this video has been helpful. This was just a little entry into my personal diary, if I'm going to be honest. So thank you for sitting in and listening. I am sorry that the lighting in this video kept changing, because I don't know what's going on. The sun has decided I've been beating you enough. It's time for me to retreat. But I hope that you enjoyed this video nonetheless. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts, your feelings are. Are you battling with this desire or this, you know, pressure to settle right now? Let's talk, let's gist, let's keep it loving, let's keep it respectful. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, join the crew, join the party, all right? And turn on your notifications so that you never miss a video from me. I will talk to you very, very, very soon. And as always, stay beautiful and stay blessed. Mwah.